Oh, stop it. Stop pretending like Al Franken leaving the Senate is some sort of moral victory and taking the moral high ground. This is political opportunism at its finest. You should not believe, and you're a fool to believe, that this was for the right reasons, and this is really because he felt shamed. This is totally about the Democrats trying to take the moral high ground as the Alabama race comes down to the wire. Al Franken wasn't going to leave, and the Democrats weren't going to have him leave until it became politically expeditious for him to do so. And why did it become politically expeditious for him to do so? Because Doug Jones is behind in the polls again in Alabama. Suddenly Roy Moore is ahead of him, and the Democrats looked like they were rallying around Franken and couldn't take the moral high ground. And Republicans in Alabama were saying, well, why should we not go with Roy Moore? Because the Democrats are standing with Al Franken. They had to do this. One accuser, two accuser, three accuser. Is 7 is the magic number? No. 7's not the magic number. 7 is just the number that accumulated when the Democrats realized they had to do something to get Al Franken out of the Senate. They were perfectly fine with him staying in the Senate until this happened, until Doug Jones fell behind Roy Moore in the polls. Oh, and by the way, let's not forget that if the Democrats were 1 seat away from losing the majority, this wouldn't have happened. The only reason this is happening is because Al Franken's from Minnesota, which has a Democratic governor, and will pick a Democrat to replace Al Franken. So there's no loss to the Democratic coalition in the Senate. This was not about the moral high ground. This is not about Democrats doing the right thing. It's not even about the Democrats rallying to Al Franken or rallying against Al Franken, because they were perfectly fine leaving him there with accuser number 1, accuser number 2, accuser number 3, accuser number 4, accuser number 5, and accuser number 6. They were perfectly fine leaving him there. Only after Doug Jones fell behind Roy Moore in the polls in Alabama did they realize they have to do something. Oh, and guess what else this is about? It's about the Congressional Black Caucus. They're upset that all the white guys in Congress were being rallied around by the Democrats, and their guy got thrown out. They were making it a racial issue, and by God, the Democrats are going to need black voters to turn out next year. Got to do something. Let's throw Al under the bus. Besides, he's expendable at this point. He wasn't going to be around much longer, and besides, the Democrats can replace him. There's no loss for the Democrats here. This wasn't a tough choice for the Democrats here, and this was not about the moral high ground. But you can tell that the Democrats have coordinated with the media on this, because the media already rushed out and said, now the Republicans have to do something about Donald Trump and Roy Moore. They have to do something. Look at the Democrats. The Democrats never do the right thing on these things. Look at what they did with Bill Clinton. They protected Harvey Weinstein for years until he became inconvenient. They were perfectly happy protecting these people until they became inconvenient. Al Franken became inconvenient for them, and they got rid of him. It wasn't about doing the right thing. It was about trying to make Republicans look bad. Still, it was the right thing to do.